really, isn't it?
Yes.
That said, welcome staff, one and all. Thank you for joining us for this week's Q&A session. Basically,
it was a fucking session.
Yes, it's a fact session. We're here so you can fact us silly. We like being fact, don't we?
Good.
Yes. So, poor old Dave. Dave, wounded in action during Meat Militia manoeuvres this week. Hacking away at some evil plants he was.
And then got attacked.
Yes, they fought back. That's why they're evil plants.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Anyway, we wish you all the best in your recovery, Master Chief Burgess.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that again. Yes. Right.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Just don't do it.
To my right, as usual, is Her Majesty Pim, Queen of Pirates, Mother of Puppies, the Unpoked, etc. She's the question master, the quiction master, I should say. It's quictions is what we have here.
Quictions.
And we have many, many quictions already before we even got going, really. So that's good, isn't it? Ted, of course, has been furiously twiddling knobs. Ergo, he hasn't spent much time this week working on his camouflage training. I think this is about the worst effort so far, frankly. I don't think he's even taking it seriously.
He's not very adaptable.
No.
How did he survive evolution?
Pass.
Ow! I got bitten by
Oh, yes, there's a screw in that thing. Yes.
Fuck.
Yes, I'll put my elbow on it so you can't.
It's my chair.
Well, don't put your elbow on that there because you'll go, ow, and everyone will go, oh, such things that Pim has to sit through.
Poor Pim.
Yes. Right.
He has to be here with you.
Yes.
You two.
Me. Us.
And Tid.
Them.
Yes.
Yes. Right.
Right. Do we want to do corrections?
Oh, why not? That's what we're here for,
we
isn't
have
it?
one with a nice capital Q. That's how we want them presented because it's easy for me to find them. If you just ask a question and I'm not reading it without you putting a Q there, it's because I didn't see it. Because the chat can get quite busy and I don't have time to read all of it all the time. So the question is, what is a good protein target to hit for a 6'3" male, currently 83 kilos, lost 12 kilos on carnivore over the last year, trying to put some muscle on? Thoughts of ratios protein to fat?
Right. For the average person, it's going to be somewhere around about 2 grams of protein per kilogram of ideal lean body mass. Or if you are significantly muscled and quite slender, then you'd use your actual mass rather than an idealized mass. If you don't know how to work out your idealized mass, you take your height in meters and you multiply that by itself. And then after that, you would multiply that by the smack middle of the ideal BMI range, so-called, which is 22.5 if you are of European descent and not hugely muscled. And that will give you your answer. So let's say 83 is quite lean for you. You would multiply that by 2 and you'd get 166 grams of protein per day, ideally in one meal if you possibly can do that. And if you want to know how much meat that is, you would multiply the 166 by 4, give or take, for a weight of raw meat. Of course, it's n equals 1, so you will need to dial in to find your ideal. There it is.
Yes.
Good.
Carnivore Club, I'll stay up for this stream, Commander. Will be 11 p.m. once live for me.
Dear.
I've noticed your shenanigans on Discord. Just saying.
Shenanigans.
And I told him about it.
Yes.
He's very proud.
Yes, I like shenanigans. So does Ted.
Right, question. Is there any validity in the hypothesis that we shouldn't mix meat types because it causes some kind of confusion in our bodies, like digestive issues and so on?
Not to my knowledge whatsoever, no. There are all sorts of people out there saying all sorts of stupid shit. It really is amazing how many stupid dumbasses there are out there saying stupid dumbass shit, isn't there? Most of them are called James.
What?
Most of them are called James.
How many stupid dumbass Jameses are there?
Oh, many. Many. One in particular. That's for another day.
I thought they were like Gregor and stuff.
Oh, we're done with James anyway, so fair enough.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, this is a question, I think.
Good.
Weird question.
Yeah.
Does anybody in here know about vitamin D raises ALT levels in the liver?
Not to my knowledge either. No, if anybody else knows anything about that, that's nothing I've ever heard of.
No.
We would need to know the mechanism to determine whether that's of any concern, whatever. Well, there's a QQQ.
Yes. After 290 days carnivore having gut issues, docs are urging for fiber. How can I get in more fat when I'm only tolerating small amounts of fatty meat? Any ideas would be welcome.
Right. For free, I can say to you, go and watch a video on my channel called 5 Health Hacks and apply all 5 of those things to your life ongoingly from this point forward, and that will put you in the best likelihood, I think, of your body sorting this one out. Additionally, I would have a look at a peptide called BPC157, where the BPC stands for Body Protective Compound. It is experimental, it is not cleared for human use, and it's so very dangerous you can buy it for yourself in tablet form off Amazon. It's a short chain of 13 amino acids, which is naturally made by your stomach lining in small amounts every day anyhow, and it seems to have miraculous effects on gut healing and sorting out that kind of nonsense, as well as for soft tissue injury. It's really good for that too, apparently. That's not advice. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just saying, in case you didn't know it exists, it does. How's that? Good.
Is there any truth to blood type A not being suitable for the carnivore diet?
None whatsoever, no. Absolute nonsense. Nonsense, Ted told me.
When you mentioned number 5 of your 5 things for your health, you mentioned 45 minutes. Is this in intervals and approximately how long on versus off?
Yeah, 45 minutes is the total session time, and it is absolutely in intervals, probably at a work to rest ratio of about 1:5, because I want you working at high intensity. So your actual exercise time during that 45 minutes may not be much more than 7 or 8 minutes. Of course, during the 5 minutes recovery, that's active recovery. I don't want you sitting on a bench either. You might walk around, you might do some light cycling or rowing or something like that in between. For full advice on exercise, you probably want to consult with me, which you can do at bit.ly/Bart-KAY. At that same place, you can also buy merchandise, including this fine mug.
But you can't buy Ted.
You can't buy Ted.
It's just one of him.
But you can buy a t-shirt with Ted on it.
Yep.
Or a cup with Ted on it. Ted likes being the source of all the merchandise, whatever.
He thinks it's a rock star.
The other thing you can do there is buy some raw products, or get yourself involved as an IBO if you actually are looking for a business opportunity. I'd be doing that, personally. I am doing that.
Oh, really?
That's good. Right, what's next?
Sardines give me zero appetite. Magic fishes.
Excellent. Good.
Just thinking about them gives me zero appetite as well.
Me too. If you are going to eat sardines, that's absolutely fine, but please don't eat tinned sardines, especially not tinned in oil.
Yeah, everyone is doing this fucking sardine fast nowadays.
Oh, God. Eat fresh sardines if you're going to.
Yeah,
not
much
tinned.
better.
Yep.
They're harder to get hold of, though. So.
Slippery and
Anyhow.
stuff.
We are not Wikipedia, but I shall read this anyway. What's the normal levels for AST and ALT for the liver to be in and not to be in?
Yeah, you need to go and look that up. That's not the kind of thing that I keep in my head.
Nope. Just saying, we're not the Wikipedia.
We're not the Wikipedia.
We are the science.
Ted knows, but he's not telling.
Yeah.
He's tight-lipped. Bollocks.
What's up with having a lot of mucus in the throat after eating?
That would suggest that you may well be eating something that's not agreeing with your physiology. Is it dairy? That would be my first guess. If it's not that, it's probably eggs.
Or something with a lot of histamines.
Okay. Yep.
Is there any significant benefit fasting longer than 72 hours, or we get most of benefits at 72 hours?
It really depends on what's going on in your body, your physiology, how much stored fat you have, and of what kind.
And why it is that you're fasting.
Yeah, and whether you're dry or wet fasting.
72 hours wet fasting is where your autophagy is maxed out. That's where the 72 hours come from.
You can do that in one day of dry fasting.
Yes.
I did 23 hours or so yesterday. It was horrible, dry fasting. I didn't like it at all. And we're going to go again starting
I made
tonight.
a short inspired by you.
Did you?
Saying
Good. Oh.
that if you want to get through a dry fast, you need to get your fucking head right.
Oh my God. My head was not ready for it, and it was horrible, and I really didn't enjoy it. We're going to go again tonight. We're going to go 3 days.
No, just 36 hours.
36 hours dry starting tonight. Good.
Yeah.
So the first bit of it will be sleeping, so that makes it easier.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's...
just 1 full day, 2 sleeps. Sweet as.
Sweet as.
Yeah. You did not want to be in this house yesterday. There was so much fucking complaining.
Oh, it was horrible.
Jesus.
I really had a hard time of it.
My ears had a hard time. Like, the negativity.
Oh, you've got it so tough.
Yes.
Pim has it so tough, boys and girls.
I do.
Send us all your money so that we can help him to recover from having it so tough, having to listen to me complain about not drinking.
Yeah, I need a proper set of earmuffs.
Yes.
So, blocking out all the sounds.
Or you could take Ted's approach to listening. Sorry, did you say something?
Isn't that what you usually do?
Well, where do you think I got it from? Ted's been my constant confidant for 52 years. So, you know, there is some crossover in our personalities.
Okay, good. Uh-oh, I think you lost a subscriber. I'm offended. My name is James.
Yeah, well, you might not be a fucktard. I didn't say all Jameses were fucktards. I just said a lot of them that were fucktards were Jameses. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Right. And you've just doxed yourself. Now we know your name's James.
And Jonathan is here to make trouble. Not a question. Question, show us your guns.
Oh. That's the best we've got.
He needs to lift heavy weights.
Yeah, I do. I seriously do.
I meant Ted.
Well, Ted does too, but, you know, yeah. Hello, Jonathan, by the way. Good to see you.
Are you surprised by the recent revelations about goatis attacking, assaulting his girlfriend, and other crazy stuff like violence and human blood drinking?
Well, I knew about a lot of that already, so no, I'm not surprised.
That's not recent, is it?
Attacking his current girlfriend?
Well, that might be recent, but
he was kicked out of high school apparently many moons ago for being a bit stabby. So no, it's not a surprise. The boy is clearly an individual with some quite serious psychological difficulties. He needs help rather than attention from people. That's the last thing we should be doing. We should actually be turning our backs on that and perhaps signposting him to where he needs to go to get help for his problems. For a start, he needs to learn that 3 is not part of the alphabet. Neither is the earth flat, neither is staring directly at the sun a good idea. Good.
Okay.
Right.
You missed the cue, but since I saw my name. Pim, how did the fast go? It went well. I broke it just before 5 days to give myself enough time to drink enough water before it's bedtime. Otherwise, it will get a little bit late. Yeah. I've said it, like, I'm surprised at how easy it was in terms of I didn't have any body pains or suffering like most people do. It was just that this time around I had a very, very dry mouth, which was the hardest thing psychologically to deal with. But other than that, it was fine. And I don't see a problem with doing it again. As he said, we're going to do a short one, a 36 one now. I'm just waiting a couple of weeks before I go for my 7 days. I don't want to do that too soon, but I want to keep my body on its toes. So we're going to do a couple of 36 hours before then. Yeah. So I shall support him today or tomorrow by not drinking with him.
Right. Ted's just popped down under the desk to do a bit of knob twiddling.
That's rude. What are these questions? Lol.
They are questions. Super chat.
Why doesn't it say up here that there was a super chat?
I don't know. You're telling the story. Maybe Ted's been twiddling all the wrong knobs.
We have a super chat anyhow. Poorest person here donating again.
Thank you, Jonathan. We appreciate that. You rock. Master Sergeant Big Boy. Apparently. Pim's decided your name is Master Sergeant Big Boy.
No, Pim has not decided that.
That's what you said after the show last week. You did.
I have never never said Master Sergeant Big Boy.
You did when I said that he was Master Sergeant of the Meat Militia, and you said, "Oh, Master Sergeant Big Boy."
Where did you get?
I should have recorded this. I really should have, because you absolutely fucking did. I don't make this kind of shit up.
Yes, you do.
I don't.
Fucking hell.
They better.
Yeah, what is this? What are these questions?
All right,
Professor, is urine therapy actually real? No, well, this came after the actual comment.
There are some people doing that kind of thing for some reason. Is it therapy? I don't believe so. Is it a good idea? I don't believe so. Is it something I would do personally? No.
Right. Do sweeteners activate the Randall cycle?
No. Why would they? The Randall cycle is activated by an interaction between carbohydrates and fat, vying for entry into mitochondrial energy provision pathways.
Don't tickle my knee. What about things like xylitol that has a little bit of energy? Sugar alcohols.
It won't be enough to activate the Randall cycle by itself, will it? Because you need a significant amount of both at the same time to most powerfully activate the thing.
Very nice.
Very nice indeed.
Yes. Okay. So, question. Where do you acquire your food? In Nelson, New Zealand? In a specific supermarket or butchers? Butchers.
We get our meat from Raywood Fresh in Richmond, actually, if you must know. And our groceries are delivered by the nice delivery truck drivers.
That's where we get butter and eggs and cream and anything else, like blueberries and yogurt and bullshit.
And bullshit.
You want the full account for everything that we buy?
Eggs and steak.
Have you heard of, have any views on urolithin, a supplementation for improving mitochondria function?
I have not.
Good. We're good at answering questions today.
Yes.
We're not Wikipedia and we know nothing.
Dick about fuck.
Question.
Yes.
These are many questions.
Yes.
Thoughts on fasting for fat loss. Should we only drink water when we're thirsty, or is there a specific need per day depending on the body, like protein?
Right. Well, it's 3 numbers and 2 questions.
Yeah.
Perhaps we should charge them twice or 3 times. Maybe we should just multiply those together and charge them 6 times for the answers. Thoughts on fasting for fat loss? Well, that's one of the means that you can use for fat loss. It's not the only means, but it's one viable tool to be used under the right circumstances by the right people at the right time. Should we only drink water when we're thirsty? Yes. Unless you're dry fasting, in which case, instead of doing that, sit around all day and bitch about it.
Yeah, that seems to be working really well.
About 23 hours in, I was told last night, for fuck's sake, shut the fuck up and go and drink. Go and have something to drink, pussy. That's what she said.
I did not say that either.
Words to that effect. Embellished, perhaps. Ted told me to do it.
Were you done?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, it's done like a dinner.
Are we just going to sit and stare at this question and see if maybe something else pops up?
I didn't sleep very well last night either.
Right, another one.
Yep.
I eat a Brazil nut a day for selenium. It's my last plant food I include. Would this be okay to give away if I'm eating beef, pork, lamb, prawns, cream and butter? Sleeved 8 years ago. Thank you.
Try it and see. I mean, are you short of selenium? Is there any sign of a selenium deficiency? Probably not. Give it a crack. Fuck around and find out.
Yes.
Yep.
Okie dokie. Been carnivore for almost 2 years. I get frequent urination off and on. Do you know what can cause that?
Many things, including how much fluid you're taking in, how much fat you're oxidizing to produce metabolic water, whether you might have the diabetes. Probably not. Many things. Yeah. Also, you might have a prostate issue if you've got one of those.
Or any... could maybe be related to oxalate dumping if that's, that's cyclic.
Nice.
Possibly.
That's why I have her hair. Her hair, not her hair. Not this.
What the fuck's that?
Your hair. Your hair.
Is char-grilled meat dangerous for your health, i.e. cancer-causing?
No, not at all. We've been doing that for over 1 million years. And cancer seems to be relatively a quite recent development in human health. There are probably other things that are behind most carcinogenesis other than a little bit of charring on meat occasionally. I wouldn't char all your meat, by the way. But, having a barbecue here and there isn't going to be the thing that's going to cause a problem necessarily, I wouldn't say.
Yum, yum, yum. In your heart disease solved video, you say that blood pressure is indicated. Coffee increases blood pressure temporarily. Surely this can potentially have a link to the development of heart disease.
Depends on how your blood pressure chronically is rather than how it is at any given time for a short period. For example, you exercise and that raises your blood pressure. Does that mean you should never exercise? No. I, for one, was drinking vastly too much coffee for a few years back, until I went, I really need to stop doing this. And I cut down from 10 or 12 cups a day down to about 2. And my blood pressure dropped by 30 millimeters of mercury on both ends. So, yeah. But now I still drink 2 cups of coffee a day when I'm not dry fasting. And my blood pressure sits around 110 to 120 over 60 to 70, where it was in the 150 over 110 previously sort of range. So,
very nice.
Coffee is bad.
Okay.
Okay.
It seems there's a focus away from the failed hypothesis of LDL-C to a new one focusing on new markers like ApoB or LPA by the medical community. I assume this is driven the usual suspects.
Yeah. It's nonsense. There are no evidences whatsoever that either ApoB neither LPA are causally involved in the cascade of events leading to atherosclerosis heart disease. None at all. Not a jot. Not a single data point. It's all theology and it's all underpinned by money. There's such money coming from pharmaceutical companies that want to sell drugs that reduce these things in your body, which is a contraindicated folly. There you go. Thank you for the question, Pedro. Pedro the fisherman was always singing. No, singing.
Salt is fucking rock.
Salt is rock. Yes. And spell your name with 3. And stare at sun and earth is flat.
Collagen, MCT powder supplement. Does it convert to oxalates? Should we avoid?
That is a possibility, and it's N equals 1 on taking collagen supplements and such things. I personally do take a collagen supplement, and I find it to be associated with apparent benefits at large. Of course, I'm an old man.
A bitching old man.
A whiny old bitch.
What is your opinion of air ionizers?
Don't know, John. I haven't seen any evidence that would lead me to believe that it's definitely beneficial or otherwise.
We could answer all the questions today in just one go and then stop here. We're saying we don't fucking know.
Well, there are a lot of things out there that are things that people have belief in variously that may or may not be good or useful information. I think no person is an island and nobody knows everything except Ted. Ted knows everything.
Ted is
but
very
says nothing.
intelligent in the bear world.
He doesn't give it away, does Ted? He keeps it to himself. Pretty much.
Do we need to add salt if no longer crave it?
I am a definite fan of adding salt if you crave it. If it's good for taste, then you don't need it. I mean, that's your body's way of telling you that it's okay just now, thanks, and doesn't need much or any.
Very nice. What are your thoughts on phosphodiesterase 5 inhibitors and their effect on health?
I have no opinion on that one either. That's not something I've looked into much either. No, sorry about that.
Did you watch Paul Saladino's latest video?
I didn't, but I've heard tell of it. And apparently I'm supposed to do a response to it, so I'll have a look later on, possibly in the week, and put something together. Also, there might not be a lot of pre-prepared videos coming out on my channel for a week or so because I'm taking on an editor to do this stuff for me. And obviously he needs to get his PC together and his act together and know what he's doing and how he's doing it and show me what he's doing. And it's a control freakery thing for me. It's a very tough thing for me to give this away because I've spent many, many hours on doing editing and stuff myself. But this is an opportunity for me to free up some headspace. So yeah, just be aware that there might not be a lot for a couple of weeks.
Yes.
But Paul Saladino's video will probably be on the list of things I'm going to deal with. Is it fucking hot in here?
No, I'm cold, as usual.
All right. I've got the radiator going.
The feral grandma's name is apparently Wendy.
Right.
Excellent, Wendy. Now we know.
Hello, Wendy.
Many people's names. We have James and Wendy. Question.
Yes.
How true is it that a high-fat diet will adversely affect flow-mediated dilation, cause platelets and other blood cells to stick together and affect viscosity, creating hypoxia, etc.?
Case by case, those are things that can occur on all sorts of diets for all sorts of reasons. There's no reason to believe that a high-fat diet consisting of the right kind of fat will adversely affect you in any way. This is a reductionist idea put together by some pseudoscientists who want to scare us away from doing what we absolutely ought to do, which is eat a species-appropriate, species-specific diet. Rinse and repeat.
Dempsey, you and me.
And Bobby McGee.
It should be raw on the inside and fucking barbecued on the other side. Preferably with a smoky taste. My farting frequency seems to have slightly increased 10%. Did you measure this?
You keep notes of this or what?
Since starting carnivory, any way to improve this metric?
You need to give your body time to adjust to a carnivore diet. And please, people, if those of you who are thinking about going carnivore that haven't yet done it, don't do it overnight. Don't just change your diet suddenly. That will fuck you up, or may well fuck you up, I should say. Not a good idea. Don't do it. Do it slowly, 6 to 8 weeks. It's quite likely that you have an issue with your microbiome because you've changed your diet and it hasn't yet adjusted to it. So give yourself some time to adjust. Do those 5 things on that video, those 5 health hacks. BPC 157 might be useful as well. But that's not advice, still.
Yeah, and don't forget to measure your farts properly before you go on a carnivore diet so that you know how they change.
Yes, and catch them in a bottle.
Oh, Jesus, that was very loud. Fuck.
Was it?
How the fuck did you do that?
Probably because I've got snot in my nose.
Yeah, stop snotting in my ear.
Sorry about that.
It must have been a B-flat snot.
A B-flat snot.
Just wanted to express appreciation and say hi. Well, thank you.
Hi, Jean. It's been a while. I hope you're okay. Drop me a note to let me know that you're okay. I'm sure you are, but...
Why is this?
Because it's really horrible.
Why is it stuck?
Because you have to click in the box again.
What, can I do that?
You
yes, I can.
Yes, you can do what you like. Pretty much.
Well, I'm not allowed to fucking do whatever I like.
Oh, welcome to my world.
I think this is where we were.
Right.
Got recurring instances of very cold hands after being on meat-only diet for a few months. Is this a common issue? What is a potential cause and solution?
Usually cold hands will be to do with a circulation issue. Sometimes it can be to do with energy levels a bit. It's really the sort of thing we'd need to talk about over an hour or so to really get to the bottom of, to be sure. Maybe you'd like to consult. Use that bit.ly link under the show, in the show notes, under the video. And we can do it that way.
Very good. Considering adding plant matter back into the diet after 6 months of gut dysbiosis from not transitioning to carnivore properly, should I reintroduce slowly? 72 hours fasts haven't cured me at all.
No, I wouldn't do that, because that fork in the road is now behind you. Going back to that place will not be helpful, I don't think, and would be a folly, in my opinion, be that humble or otherwise. I would strive forward from where you are now, and I would use those 5 health hacks plus BPC 157 perhaps. And then, if you want to consult further and get more into the weeds, we can do that at that link under the show in the show notes. I'd get in quickly because I am going to put the prices up for consultancy. I'm giving it away. It's crazy.
$1,000 per hour?
Well, that's what Sardines charges, to tell people to pour carbohydrates down their stupid necks every day of their lives. Perhaps I should charge $2,000 now to tell them, no, don't do that.
Yes. Very good. A good business plan.
Yep, like it.
Studies show that not liking the stream results in early death.
It does, because Ted shows up with his bucket of soapy frogs and his wetsuit with the bottom cut out.
And not being subscribed to my channel results in massive obesity.
Yes.
And autoimmune conditions.
And not saying all hail Ted also leads to Ted getting out his fluffy yellow truncheon. Or indeed his small guillotine.
I have a problem with the position of the chair.
Yes.
Because you keep pushing me this way, but otherwise I have to like this. Yes. Hey Bart.
Hey.
Do you think these natural testosterone boosters with phytochemicals can help with building muscle, or our bodies already make what's optimal for us and something more will be bad?
Case by case, some of these things may or may not be useful and others not. Very much case by case, because things are different. For example, epicatogen might be helpful with building muscle. Maybe. Whereas there are other things that are proposed to be good for muscle building that really aren't. Do you need any plant materials in your life? No.
What about the coffee?
Well, coffee is always a choice. You don't need it.
No. I haven't had coffee today.
No.
I didn't want it.
Fair enough.
Babs. Is my name Babs now?
If you like Babs, so long as you say salt is rock, stare at sun, earth is flat, and if you are eat cooked meat, you are fucking slave. That's how you do it. Good to see you, Babs.
Pim just named everything on my shopping list bullshit. Is Joe? How? I categorize the stuff my daughter and grandkids eat that I don't consume. Yes, it's bullshit.
Yes.
Well, most of the things that you get from a supermarket, if it's not a dairy, and you do have a butcher, obviously, is bullshit.
Yeah.
Do you believe EMF is a real issue? Frank Tufano sells stuff you can wear, like a net on your head or silver clothes and t-shirts.
Right. I think that people are quite individual in how they react to EMF, apparently. I am not convinced by the science of it. I am not convinced that EMF that we are subject to in everyday life is a huge issue. I'm not saying it's not an issue either. What I would say is people that want to listen to Fwank Tuffanus and such other completely untrained, completely ignorant individuals deserve everything they get. Why are people listening to these fucktards? I mean, it's quite clear that a lot of people with very real credentials are fucking morons. I've dealt with one over the last 3 weeks called James. So why would you listen to someone with no training? Why are people so unable to discern, I guess?
Started carnivore while doing alternate day fasting, developed candida. Where did I fuck up and how can I fix it?
Look, it's impossible to unpick such a thing without probably an hour-long discussion to work through all the variables. You need to consult on that.
I can share my experience. When I did the 90-day carnivore experiment almost 2 years ago now, I got it as well. Sally K. Norton said it could be dormant in oxalates, and when you start dumping, that could happen. I don't know how that happens, but that's what she said. I'm not sure I believe that. because I also got a little bit now when I was dry fasting, which I have forgotten about because it's gone away again. So my theory is that when it starts dying, it will want to prevent itself from dying out completely, and it will just kind of flare up. That's my guess. So it's probably something that is more or less dormant in your body, and now when you start fixing things and creating a less ideal environment for the candida, I think might just be a desperate flare-up. My theory.
Super duper.
This is not science. This is theory.
Mm-hmm. Trust me, I'm the science. Don't question the science.
Is it best to not drink water or any type of drink before and after a meal?
No. There's really nothing much that can support that, Dimps. I don't think at all. At the end of the day, the people that say you should or shouldn't do this are talking mostly about it has an effect on your stomach acidity, etc. But not for long. Because if your stomach sets the acidity at the level it thinks it needs to be right now based on what's in it, and then you pour in some water, your stomach acid will quickly readjust because things will be pumped in and out, ionic things that will affect the pH, James, cause and effect, son, and that's how it's readjusted. So it really doesn't last more than a few minutes, tops. Any derangement in the stomach pH.
Finally, Pim and Bart back together like the good old days.
Remember the good old days when they were good and old? Those
Good
days?
and old, yes. Very good and old.
Yes.
Question.
Yes.
How long before a buildup of uric acid, which causes gout, passes?
Uric acid does not cause gout. How long does it take for it to pass? Well, it depends on how quickly your body is going to eliminate any urate, in fact, rather than uric acid. And that will be about what your kidneys are doing to pump various things in and out to. James, control the pH of your body. Son. Still. What's next? I'm over it now.
Should someone with an anal fistula dry fast to help heal? Is there anything besides carnivore and dry fasting that can help heal these fistulas?
I would fast, yes, and I would definitely add BPC 157. That's not advice. That's what I would definitely do in that case. Yes.
Very good. What should we call the protein-insulin effect you taught us, where you eat enough protein to get a proper insulin response to avoid the need for carbs?
You can call it whatever you like. You can call it Roger, perhaps, or Brian. It's just what you do. I should also say before on the previous question, those 5 things as well, including cereal products for the fistula, although that's not a cause and effect claim on that either, because we're not allowed to. What should we... Yeah, call it whatever you like.
Roger.
Call it a species-appropriate, species-specific diet, which basically, for the vast majority of people, consists of 1 meal a day, not multiple, where you get enough protein in one whack to cause the effect that you're looking for, which is enough of a protein bump to keep everything viable in terms of your kidney function, your thyroid function, and various other aspects of your functionings.
Very good.
Lovely.
Is a diet consisting of 90% fish, such as freshly farmed caught salmon, beneficial to one's health?
I would say not. In the case of farmed salmon, I would stay the hell away from that.
That's on par with farmed fucking or indoor cows.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch farmed salmon, frankly, personally. And if you were going to eat a diet 90% based on fish that was freshly caught wild salmon, I'd still say probably not the best, actually, because the ideal diet consists of probably around about 80% large ruminant animal meats and fats, not aquatic ones so much. Although there's nothing wrong with having an amount of fish in your diet. An amount.
How big of an impact does oxidized LDL foam cells actually have on heart disease?
That's impossible to really know. At the end of the day, there is some foam cell activation that does occur if you have oxidized LDL. Is that the cause of the disease, or is that a reaction to the disease? Which came first, the chicken or the egg? And at the end of the day also, if you don't have LDL being included and retained in the walls, I guess, of the arterial doings, then you don't have the problem. I've covered it, I think, quite well in my video recently on, heart disease, solved, ! Or several, I can't remember.
Super chat.
Super chat, super chat. Give us all your money. No singing.
The carnivore diet turned my dingle into a dangle.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Just the thing you want.
Yeah. Let's see if we can.
Thank you for the money.
Oh, fuck's sake. I can't even grab a thingy-bingy at the side anymore. Oh, Jesus. This is doing my head in. Don't know where we were. Here's a cue.
Yeah, good.
Speaking of which, if you post questions without the cue at the front, you are very unlikely to be read.
Yes.
Why doesn't citrate inhibit phosphofructokinase during de novo lipogenesis?
Who says it doesn't? Where did you get that from?
You have to ask, what's the name?
Ted.
The name of the person posting the question?
Right. The person with no name.
Yes.
Yes. Who says it doesn't? I never smashed a button. I caress it gently so it doesn't damage my phone screen. Good.
Very good.
Yes.
I hate this chat window. Here's a question.
Good.
How bad would a 2-hour-long bike ride at high intensity then coast, rinse, repeat be for the heart?
Depends on all sorts of factors, individual factors, training status factors, experience of cycling factors, all of that kind of stuff. And also depends on what you mean by high intensity and what you mean by coast as well. Ask a specific question if you want a useful answer, perhaps, people. Thank you for the question, though, Bob.
We have the useless FAQ today. I just gone in here. What 5 points were you talking about? The troubleshoot carnivore diet, I think it's what you were talking about?
It's the video I'm talking about is called 5 Health Hacks, and I'm on the thumbnail going like that so that you can see that there are 5 of them, and also so that you can see the palm of my hand, which apparently makes me much more trustworthy. And you just need to apply all of those 5 things. And for those that have gastric issues or soft tissue injury issues, the BPC 157 thing may or may not be useful. But you need to do your own research on that and decide to take it for yourself or not to. Because it's experimental.
How much does very low carb, max 3 grams per day? 3, very specific. We like it. Messes with the Randall cycle. I'm just finishing my protein powder and that's about it for all the carbs on the diet. I gotta finish the pot, paid for it.
It's very, very unlikely that 3 grams a day is going to have any effect at all that you'd notice. Very unlikely indeed.
Yes.
Up to about 50 is probably not going to affect the Randall cycle meaningfully at all.
50? Even for a couch potato?
Oh, give or take. I mean, that's a give or take number for the average Joe.
Okay.
Yeah. Or Josephine. Or Josephine, Jojo.
So I'm pretty safe then when I'm refeeding with 50 grams of carbs.
In terms of Randall cycle, yeah.
Right. We have name suggestions. Let's call it Steve.
Okay.
Or Eric.
What about Francois? Hippie.
No. No such
That's taken, of course, by Francois. Yeah. Ted would like to catch up with Francois at some point.
Does taking glycerol enhance muscle hypertrophy?
Why would it? Muscles are made out of amino acids, not glycerol.
Maybe there's a different mechanism.
Yeah, well, glycerol, I mean, the fate of free glycerol in the body is one of 2 things. Either it gets appended with 3 more fatty acid chains to be resynthesized into, like, triglycerides, triacylglycerides, if you like, or it's broken down into glucose via the gluconeogenic pathway.
So, aquatic ape theory is debunked? Debunked.
Aquatic ape? What? What?
I don't know what
Babs.
what we were talking about when that comment came in.
Okay, Babs, what have you been smoking and why haven't
It
you
was
been
only
sharing?
5 minutes ago.
Yes. Whatever it is you're smoking, send some over. Sounds good.
How to get six-pack abs on all beef diet with weightlifting and walking 8,000 steps a day. Mine's still flabby.
Well, there are a lot of things that will affect a person's carriage of fat, that little layer of fat that can sit over the top of your abs and hide them. There are several approaches that you can use to cut that fat and get those abs visible if that's of value to you in any way. I actually achieved it once by doing priming for 90 days. That worked.
You went priming for 90 days.
Priming for 2 weeks. A priming thing, a program over 90 days, starting with priming and then had some fasting. Yes, you're quite right. Yes.
Oh, you would have died if you had to prime for 90 days.
Oh, Jesus. No, thank you. Yeah.
You know, he's bitching when he doesn't get food and drink, and he's bitching when he has to eat a lot of food anyway. Drinking is more of your thing.
You're here to help, aren't you?
Yep. That's where you keep me around.
It is.
You say that.
It is. Mm-hmm.
Is a hot, warm bone broth after a hard day's labour indicated for health?
But it's not contraindicated, and it may well be useful. But you can't say it's definitely good for you because what the hell?
Since isotope analysis shows our ancestors ate 80% meat and 20% fibrous materials,
Yes.
shouldn't we also eat 20% fibrous materials if we follow the same logic for a meat-heavy diet?
Well, you could think that way, and you might be forgiven by Ted for thinking that way. However, at the end of the day, what we can show, without too much fear of any serious contradiction, is that the requirement for fibre intake in the human diet is actually none. You don't need a single gram of fibre ever. There is no evidence to the contrary of a cause and effect nature. There are only inferences put together by people who are being paid money to say X, Y, or Z. Generally, there's one study in existence, one, that's even a pseudo-clinical look at, as it turns out, people with so-called idiopathic constipation. And it suggests that you remove the fibre from these people's diets and their symptomology resolves completely, universally, 100% of the time in the people they looked at, which was N equals 63 from memory. Go and look up Paul Seller. Not Paul Seller. Don't go and look him up. Go and look up Paul Mason, an actual sensible doctor that actually practices medicine, unlike Paul, who doesn't. And follow that thread, follow that rabbit hole. Yes.
Good.
Good.
Dimpsey says, how much science is really out there to help us know how long it will take to dump most problematic oxalates? I understand we will never get rid of all of them. I have.
How much science? None. Zero science will tell you how long that will take. Now, Master Sergeant Goiki, Dusters, after class, report to the invalided Master Chief Burgess, who was, for those that missed it, wounded in action for the Meat Militia this week, hacking away at some evil plants he was, on a ladder. The plants attacked the ladder, apparently. Or what was that tricksy gravity
for
stuff?
Dimpsey as well, you do produce oxalates yourself as well.
Yes.
So, just saying.
Yes.
Where does iodine come from in the carnivore diet?
Well, iodine is in all sorts of things, including meat in very, very small amounts. At the end of the day, it seems like people who eat a carnivorous diet have vastly reduced requirements for the intake of all sorts of things, including iodine. Because at the end of the day, there are really no examples of people who are clearly clinically short of iodine on a carnivore diet. Many of them having been on said carnivore diet for multiple decades.
Have you ever thought about doing a fan meetup where we could get to know each other on a personal basis?
Well, yes. There is an opportunity coming up in November where I am scheduled to be in Adelaide, Australia, for a thing that's happening over there, which I'll tell you more about closer to the time.
Yeah, I have I had no clue he was going to be here.
I haven't even told Pim about it yet, but apparently I'm down to attend a conference in Adelaide, Australia in November. So there's that going on. In August, I shall be stateside for a bit, somewhere. Las Vegas.
I did know about that.
Somewhere near Las Vegas, maybe. And then we'll be going up to a lake to have a look at some green stuff growing in it and watch the machines pull the green stuff out of the lake and watch it go through a factory and turn into green pills and things. It'll be exciting as hell.
I'm glad you're excited.
So any of my Sorul people that want to meet me in person that are stateside or want to go stateside, I think you've got until about June the 30th to register for that trip. You can find that through your back offices and your Sorul doings. I think, however, there's about 4 slots left on that trip until they've deemed it to be full. So you better get in quick.
Quick.
But yes, I also have been thinking about, well, let's do some more appearances here and there. Yes.
What is the relative risk statistic that gets reported in studies good for? It doesn't speak to any one person. Is it good for anything?
It's good for gaining publications for the people that write such studies and make them sound like they've done something worthwhile knowing about and something deeply shocking and horrific. In terms of advising a person, any given person, about their risk of anything, it has absolutely no value of any kind whatever. It's a complete waste of ink. It's nonsense. It's anti-scientific fluffery and huffery. And basically it makes Ted very cross.
You know how people say, like, I would never get a fat personal trainer, blah, blah, blah. This is the same thing.
Yeah.
Is there any tips you have to improve hair growth aside from carnivory?
Tee-hee-hee.
Tee-hee-hee.
Yeah.
I suppose this is growing.
It does grow, yes.
And this on the sides.
And the stuff in my ears. Yeah. And, and I've also, like, as I've aged, I've also started to grow patches of hair on the back of my neck and down. And, like, I've never had that. I'm turning into an ape.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're like colonies.
Colonies of hair.
That didn't look like hair.
Well, it's like Zoidberg, isn't it?
I was going to say that. Stopped with the noise. Jesus. Response: in your Randall cycle diagram, there's no inhibitory line drawn from citrate to PFK.
So? A reductionist diagram used for the purposes of describing a process at large does not contain all the details that exist in the system. If you'd like to talk to me about the Randall cycle thing a bit more in more detail, and you'd like to do it live on camera, we could do that. Just send me an email or a message and we'll hook it up. And we can do a question and answer, even just one-on-one, but we'll record it and make it available for people as a learning thing.
Very good. Well, the carnivore diet gave me a rocking accent like yours.
Oh, I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will, absolutely. Of course it will.
Is it safe to be keto for years?
Depends on what you mean keto for years. If you mean 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 165 a year, no, that's not a good idea. If you mean, could you subscribe to a largely carnivorous lifestyle appropriately applied for years at a time? Well, of course, yes.
But carnivore isn't necessarily keto.
Exactly.
People think, person is asking about keto.
Yeah. People think that carnivore is like hardcore keto. It's actually not. Not at all. Carnivore has too much protein to be keto, or to be thought of as a keto diet so much, although you will produce some ketones. Of course, you'll produce ketones if you eat a mixed diet as well.
What is your take on dairy in a carnivore diet? What about whey protein powder? I can't think it's great.
Dairy is very much N=1. Either a person agrees with dairy or not, and that's largely genetic. About 2/3 of the population of the planet do not do well on dairy, and about 1/3 say they do. And there are a few people saying, oh, it's absolutely the best thing in the world, and I swear by it, in which case, Philly boots. All good.
I'm not a huge fan of protein powders in general. And if you asked Harry about it, he would probably say that they have a lot of deuterium in them.
Yeah, he'd be right. I probably do.
Yes.
And not enough taurine. Taurine. No singing.
Indeed. Can a carnivore diet help cure erectile dysfunction?
It is possible. Absolutely.
Jesus, come on. Stupid chat.
Stupid chat. Fucking chat window.
Anyway. Any plans to have a chat or debate with Nick Norwitz about LMHR? He is openly calling for it. He said so on Ken Berry's podcast.
Okay, well, I didn't know that, in which case I'll drop him a message and let's see whether he wants to front up to me. That'll be interesting.
Very good. Many carnivores report better teeth.
Yep.
I'm getting plaque buildup behind lower teeth. Too much coffee, 2 cups a day, otherwise pure carnivore for 9 months.
In general, people do report an improvement in dental health, a reduction in halitosis, a reduction in plaque buildup around their teeth, and an absence of that furry feeling that you get when you're eating carbohydrates. That's a general trend. Your mileage may vary depending on exactly what you're doing and when and how and stuff. And
not all buildups are necessarily bad either. And some of them might just be oxalates. We're getting back to oxalates again.
Yes.
Last week, it was all about dry fasting. Now we're doing oxalates. Aquatic ape theory is that we were like eating mostly seafood supported by our needs for taurine and the whole mammalian dive reflex. I know, not a question.
Okay, fine, Babs. I've never heard that before. And to me, it's quite clear that while some of humanity has lived coastally for a very, very long time, not all humanity has done that.
No.
There are regional differences in the exact makeup of the human diet as per the isotope testing. And in some places, there's more seafood and that kind of stuff than in other places. But in general, the actual range seems to be around about 5% across all the remains found of all different ages all around the planet. Anything prior to the agricultural revolution, I mean. So 12,000 years ago up to, I think some of the oldest bones they're talking about is like 150,000 or something. Interesting stuff.
Did you know that up until the age of 7, I actually liked fish?
Did you?
Yeah. Then I stopped liking it completely. Yucky.
Yucky.
Yeah, still yucky. Still yucky.
Fish. Yucky fish.
95% carnivore. Advice, please, on my few so-sos. Ultra low carb beer with my 1 meal a day, an avocado and some kiwi sauerkraut. Take Lester's fish oil. B1 lost 30 kilos in 12 months.
Okay. Good to see you, Pete. Hope the weather is as it should be up there in the north of Auckland region. Low carb beer, no. There's no place for that, really. I myself am not sitting in judgment because I drink low carb beer and low alcohol beer sometimes, but there's no place for it. You don't need that. It's plant-based. It's not health promoting in any way. Avocado, same deal. You don't need avocado in your diet, but plus minus if you want to, fine. Sauerkraut, I'm not a fan of, whether it's kiwi or not. I wouldn't take fish oil. Personally, I wouldn't touch fish oil with a barge pole. B1 plus or minus, it's water soluble anyway, mostly. Great job on the 30 kilograms, or that's about 66 pounds. For those that have freedom units in mind, those not affected by Jabcinda and her tyranny over there in Freedom Land, wherever that is. Good job. Well done. Good to see you, Pete.
Is there any actual evidence that consuming meat causes or exacerbates gout?
No, there's not. None at all.
It says online that BPC 157 isn't legal for human consumption. Why do you think that is? Are there risks?
It depends on what country you're talking about. A lot of countries will not make something illegal until it's proven to be safe and effective, according to whoever it is that decides what's safe and effective. Given what's been going on in the world in recent years in terms of safety and efficacy, who the hell are these people to say what's safe and effective anyway? Certainly, example here in New Zealand, you can't buy the stuff over the counter here, but you absolutely can go on Amazon and order it from Amazon from outside of New Zealand. It comes in and you get it. It's fine. And it's not illegal here. It's experimental. So, don't know.
Right. Yes. Have you ever tried a 10-day dry fast? How did it go? I tried it and passed out on day 3.
Yeah, no. And I would suggest that you should probably think about what it is that you're swallowing.
Yeah, prepare for your dry fast better, maybe.
Yep. And no, I haven't tried a 10-day dry fast. And during those 10 days, did you have a different name?
Well, you passed out on day 3.
Right. So was it I don't swallow cum during that period? I don't know.
Please, what is your opinion of the cardiac procedure, the Watchman, in reducing heart attack stroke? Thank you so much.
That's not a term I've ever heard, and I have been previously a cardiovascular pathophysiologist. This seems to be a colloquial term, perhaps. Give me more detail about what procedure you're talking about. I may be aware of it, but never heard of it referred to as such. I've no idea what you're talking about, in short. Sorry.
I have about $1,000 to spend on consultations with different experts. Right now, I'm considering you, Saladino, Sverige, Pim, and Chafee. Any others?
Right, okay. On that list, I would definitely talk to Pim if you have an issue with addictive food behaviours. Anthony Chafee is absolutely a good source of information, and I wouldn't hesitate in that respect at all. There is no way in a purple fit I would spend money to consult that absolute arse monkey who can't spell his name without a fucking number in it. The boy doesn't know what he's talking about remotely at all, and the same could be applied to Saladino. That boy is also a fucking arse monkey, and he will charge you $1,000 an hour to tell you to pour carbohydrates down your neck. So I wouldn't do that. So out of those, I would say myself, Pim, and Chafee.
Find someone who you resonate with and who's doing the thing that you want to get out of the consultation.
Yes.
I'm not consulting, helping people with doing diet plans and that shit. It bores me to death. Like, that's not my thing. Just saying.
Yes.
Yes. Question, 170 centimeter tall, 64 kilos by now, hard to get heavier, even getting lots of protein in one meal, 500 grams of ground beef, 6 eggs, 25 grams of cheese. Is the protein turning into sugar? Is it too much?
Yeah, probably. Yep. That sounds like too much protein. You'd have to be very, very active for that to be indicated.
We have 2 super chats. Yay!
Yay, super chats.
In your video, React to Lily Kane, you talked about sardines a bit. Could you explain your reservation about sardines and seafood other than mercury?
I don't have any fucking reservations about fucking sardines for the billionth fucking time. I have a reservation about tinned sardines, especially in oil. For God's sake. Thank you for the money.
Let's say you have a reservation about tins.
Yes,
anything
tins.
Put in the tins.
Yes, and anything that's tinned in oil is also likely to be as rancid as fuck. Eat fresh sardines. They'll be great for you, I'm sure. Don't eat tinned sardines was what I was saying. Yes.
Good.
Right.
2 sets is enough per exercise for hypertrophy training, so long as the intensity is 8 repetitions max per set. Is 2 sets enough for strength training as well if the intensity is 3 to 5 RM?
Yes. Good.
Very good.
Good.
Shall we... Oh, Jesus. I don't know what to do about this.
Pull your hair out. Or mine. Pull my hair out.
Oh.
Yes, pull my hair.
How do you suppose I'm going to do that?
Well, we spoke about some of the places I have hair growing. Oh! Oh!
I have a messed up shoulder, not improving. Likely that either BPC 157 or stem cell ultra help. I don't take aspirins or alternatives.
I would do both of those things. I would take a wellness pack per month at least of Stem Enhance Ultra, Sciactive, and probably Plasma Flow. And I would take BPC 157 personally for that purpose. None of those things are a guarantee that anything specific will happen for you. They're just things I would do because they probably will help, but I can't say that they will, definitely.
Waves. You have to tell us what process you want us to film.
Yes.
Because this was 13 minutes ago and we can't remember what we even did 1 second ago. So try again.
Ted can't remember what he did a few seconds
How
ago.
does one join as a Cerule IBO?
You go to my Cerule IBO joining up link, which is https://bkaynutrition.cerule.com, and you click the button that says join us, I want to be an IBO, and you follow the prompts. Yeah, that's what you do.
I just saw a very strange comment, so I have to
Also, if you couldn't remember all that link, it's in the show notes underneath. If you go to that bit.ly link at the bottom right hand of that page, there's a link out to Cerule there. Clickable.
People in the Discord have been talking about how lard helps regrow hair via some mechanism. I am not kidding.
Okie dokie, Babs. Okay. I hope Lukey's on top of that, and Necro Kitty. I hope they're keeping that all in order. I'm sure they are.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Sorry, I'm just randomly clicking now. I don't know what that says.
Is it safe to eat only frozen meat?
I was lucky that it was actually a question.
Is it cheaper? It is cheaper to buy a whole cow from the farmer and still avoid scurvy. Yes, why wouldn't you eat only frozen meat? You'd probably thaw it before you eat it, I would suggest. And scurvy is not a problem on a carnivore diet, never has been.
Okay. Why is it not safe to be in nutritional ketosis for years for my Crohn's? What would you suggest?
If you mean being in ketosis to a high level, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 a year, there are many reasons you shouldn't do that. Many reasons indeed. The most important of which are thyroid function and kidney function can be affected adversely in that regard as well. I would suggest eating a sufficient bolus of protein for your body mass every day in one meal to kick you out of ketosis on a daily basis for several hours, which is what that will do. How much is that? Well, it's about 2 grams of protein per kilogram of ideal lean body mass. Excuse me. Coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
We have... Well, where the fuck did it go?
That's one of those days. That's every day, though, isn't it, when we're doing this?
We have deceived someone. I love how you guys get right to questions and answer them. Excellent job.
Good.
Have you been watching?
We have you fooled then. Excellent. Welcome.
Yes. Is fluoride something to avoid?
Yes.
Yes, run.
Run away. Ah!
Should you never exercise like a certain raw meat eater is spouting on about, as it is stressful and causes aging?
I think people need to be a lot more discerning about who it is they listen to. Come on in. Hey, come on in. Oh, snoozy. Oh, you're a fatty.
She's not.
Oh, you're so heavy.
She's just twice as heavy as the other one.
She says,
I can hear that. When do you plan your next big dry fast? 1 week plus?
it'll be the first time I've done dry more than 3 days when I get to that. So we're doing 36 hours starting tonight. Maybe next week we're doing 3 days?
No.
Or a couple of weeks?
I'm not going to do a long until I do 7, but you can if you want.
All right. Thanks for your permission. I'll be looking at doing a 7-day dry fast when I can get past 1 day without being a whiny bitch.
Maybe you should start with 3 days. Work yourself up slowly.
I've done 3 days before, but I've always got to a point where I get quite a bit of kidney pain after about 3 days, which is quite concerning for me. Maybe that doesn't happen this time, but it's happened. I've tried it twice before and it's happened both times at about the same stage. Just over 3 days. Oh, that's not good. Not good at all. Yeah.
Hello from Texas. Keep doing what you do, good folks.
We will.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much for the $4.99 US greenback dollars. We like those. They're with 1.58 times Pacific pesos this morning.
Fucking hell.
I know.
Right. IBSD for 25 years, carnivores past 5 years, 29 days lion, ruminant meal, salt, iodine, pain gone, but diarrhea persists. Doctors, functional nurse, GI doctors haven't helped. Any suggestions, please?
Keep doing it. And 5 health hacks. All 5. Maybe add BPC 157. That's not advice. Still. Fuck. She's having trouble with the chat window.
It doesn't scroll.
It just keeps locking out and not scrolling. And yes. Take a deep breath. Enhance your calm.
Who says I'm not calm?
Inner chi.
Right. I think I found a question.
A question.
What can one do to adapt to live in a high elevation place, 1,700 to 2,000 meters or so?
Go there, live there, and stay there. Your body does that after a while. What will happen is you will produce a bunch of erythropoietin, and the erythropoietin will cause the release of more red blood cells into your bloodstream than you would have had otherwise, and that will increase your ability to extract oxygen from the atmosphere, and thus you will be adapted over time. There is a limit to human adaptation at certain altitudes, of course. That our physiology is able to live from sea level to quite a lot higher than sea level, but there is a limit. So 1,700 to 2,000 meters is not much.
It will take you about 3 days or 4 days.
Yeah,
maybe.
something like that. Yeah.
Off to Poland visit this month. Any tips to stay carnivore without offending relatives here? Just do your thing.
Do your thing. Why would they be offended? And if they are going to be offended,
fuck them.
Fuck them. What are you going to do about it? I mean, at the end of the day, you can't control other people's attitudes towards anything.
No. It's one of the things that come up quite frequently with my clients is that how everyone feels really uncomfortable eating the way that they're eating just because they're getting judged by other people. Like, you can't live your life worrying about what other people are going to think about what you're eating. The only reason that it doesn't, like, they have opinions about it, they're going to have opinions about it, whatever you're eating. But they want you to eat the way that they do because otherwise they get uncomfortable. It's not your problem.
That's it. Good.
Yes.
Like it.
Not your problem. It's their problem. Let it be their problem. Don't take it on.
Yes.
Is that thing of get your protein the closer you can to the end of your workout relevant for us to even care? And what about don't cold shower after a workout or you would leave gains on the table?
Both of those things are complete, utter, errant pap, nonsense, and fucktardery. Rubbish on both of those things.
Tell us what you really think.
I think I just did. Absolute rubbish. Thank you for the question.
Released 50 pounds of weight inflammation after cutting alcohol and processed crap and going mostly carnivore. Under 20 grams of carbs per day. CRP is about 5.2. Serum ferritin is 181. Help to reduce inflammation? ?
If you want to reduce inflammation, 5 health hacks video on my channel. Do all 5 of those things religiously for 6 months and then tell me it didn't work. Because nobody has so far. Not one.
Are you sure anyone is doing all 5?
Those that are, and then I can verify that they are,
Okay.
and they'll put their hand on the heart and say, I've done all 5 of those things every day for the last 6 months. Every one of those people has said, and it's made a miraculous change to my life. That's why those are my 5, because it fucking works. Yeah.
It fucking does.
Yes.
Fucking. How often should I consume raw beef brains?
Never. Why would you?
Deuterium is in the hydrogen in water, so how can something dried like protein powder be high in deuterium?
Well, because it's still there.
It's the hydrogen. There is a lot of hydrogen in protein powder.
Yes. You mean deuterium exists in things that contain hydrogen in their molecular structure, not just water. For example, fatty acid molecules contain a lot of deuterium or hydrogen, depending on where that fat comes from. So removing the water doesn't remove all the deuterium from a substance?
No.
Oogie oogie. That's a cool name. Oogie oogie.
Oogie oogie.
Oogie oogie.
There it is.
Yes.
Is the level of histamines in meat increased when it's stored in the fridge for some days? Yes.
Yes.
Blah, 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 blah. Question. Plant protein, is it all a matter of missing amino acids or something else? Is combining amino acids as good as animal protein, assuming that you remove the anti-nutrients included in the plant?
Well, that's the hard bit, though, isn't it? How are you going to take in plant material but not take in plant anti-nutrients, toxins, problems, etc.?
Snooze.
How is that going to work?
Careful, come.
In terms of whether plant protein is as good as animal protein, anecdotally, it seems like absolutely not. I mean, go and have a look at any number of vegan influencers telling you that you don't need animal protein and see what they look like. You know? There is some reason, some definite, clear reason why folks that do not consume animal protein look the way they look. And it's because their diet is fucking destitute. Yes. Destitute.
Right. Is uric acid good or bad? Is it raised by eating proteins or by fructose?
Both of those things can lead to an increase in urate, not uric acid, urate. And urate is good in certain circumstances and not so good in others, just like water is good in certain circumstances and not so much in others. Urate, for example, is a powerful water-based antioxidant, which is useful. Urate is included in the stones that cause the problems associated with gout, but that doesn't mean they're the cause of it. Of eating proteins and fructose, the one that most powerfully increases urate is fructose, vastly, actually.
Already got tuckets. Can't wait to meet you.
Yep, see there. That's the November thing in Adelaide, South Australia.
Your thoughts on NAC and melatonin as supplements, please. Thanks, and please don't yell at me if you already talked about these.
Look, it's all just for show, that kind of stuff. We're actually marvellously friendly and supportive people. Yeah, it's all show, so don't take any of it too seriously in terms of the play acting. The information is good, but we just like to have a bit of fun while we're at it. NAC, fine, plus or minus. I don't see that there's a problem with it myself necessarily. Melatonin can be problematic if you lean on it for too long or take too much of it or whatever in your body's ability to, all of that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Do you need either of those things? Well, that's case by case.
If I eat one meal a day and I get hungry around evening, should I eat again? Can't sleep if I'm hungry and get too stuffed to eat more on my OMAD.
Yes, then. You should.
Can I just suggest something?
Of course you can.
Maybe eat TOMAD so you don't have to eat right before bed if you're hungry. Then you might not be so hungry.
Yeah, it also depends when you have your one meal a day as to that issue. Yes.
All that.
Cool.
Is it contraindicated to insert coffee enemas or other objects in that part of the body?
I have at least one colleague that does use coffee enema in her practice for various reasons. So I'm not going to say, no, don't do it. I myself do not suggest that kind of thing to my clients, personally.
Here we are.
Yes.
Are there any artificial sweeteners that are better than others, or should I just do away with all of them?
Ideally, you should do away with all of them, but we have come to the conclusion in this household that both stevia and what's the other one? Xylitol.
We have three in the household.
There we go. Three.
We have stevia, we have erythritol, and we have monk fruit.
Okay.
I don't use monk fruit a lot
Right.
just because.
No
reason really.
Yeah.
Just I'm used to the other two.
Yeah. Ideally, in an ideal world, one should do away with sweetening. Yeah.
Yes. And I only use them when I have egg coffee anyway. So if I don't have it, I don't use it pretty much.
Yeah.
Unless I can't even remember when I made a carnivore ice cream last, but like if I do something like that, I will use some, but it's not a weekly or even monthly occurrence. Could you talk a little bit about medium intensity cardio? I remember in a few of your videos you said it's bad for your health. Could you explain how?
Yes. Number one, a person who undertakes hours and hours and hours a week of moderate intensity endurance style activity may end up later in life with a cardio hypertrophy issue, such that their heart muscle becomes so bulky that it interferes with its own function as a heart, and that can lead to cardiac problems. Secondly, a person who does a lot of that kind of exercise, while ever they're doing that, will probably get away with it because they'll be spending much of the intake of the carbohydrates that they probably are intaking doing that exercise. But at some point they will need to stop doing that amount of exercise, and the carbohydrate intake probably won't change, and that can lead to issues surrounding the consumption of carbohydrates for those people, i.e. obesiogenesis, type 2 diabetes, trending towards type 1, heart disease, etc., etc. All of those things. Also, a person who trains a lot that way will tend to strip muscle mass off their body, which is definitely contraindicated. Not a good idea at all. Exercise should be of very, very low intensity. Exercise, movement, for the sake of movement, going for a walk. Training should be very, very high intensity. Stay the hell out of the middle. The middle is not your friend. There you go.
Blood sugar is high because it is produced by the body, since if a diabetic stops eating sugar, he will still have high blood sugar for a while. Why does the body do that?
Blood sugar is high. Well, it's not high for everybody, so that's a general statement that's not correct. Because it is produced, so I guess what you're asking is, if the body is producing an amount of glucose itself, is that a problem? And the answer is probably not. Because the body knows what it's doing largely. If you get out of your own stupid way and let it do what it's supposed to do, what you need to concentrate on is eating a species-appropriate, species-specific diet, rinse and repeat. The body knows how much sugar it needs to produce, and it generally does a good job of that.
We have a super chat, but I also want to say that we are over time, so if you definitely want your questions answered, put the super chat in, otherwise we're going to wrap it up in a couple of minutes.
Ooh, good job.
This is a double question. Where is the double super chat?
Yes.
Is it even physically possible to continue to be a type 2 diabetic when you were a carnivore?
No, because type 2 diabetes is chronically elevated blood glucose and nothing else.
Oh, Jesus.
It's all right, we're nearly done. Nearly done.
It doesn't scroll.
Yes.
But we got another one.
Yeah.
Was that the full answer?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's not possible.
Another super chat. Good evening. Is making beef jerky on low heat caused Maillard browning of meat? And what about broiling of meat?
Fine, whatever. No real issues there. You're at the bottom.
Me. But I want to go back.
Well.
I don't want to be at the bottom. Jesus. How hard can it be?
Pretty hard, apparently. You can't get the help stuff.
Okay, sorry. Not answer any questions in the past. If you put them in, put them again, because I can't scroll up.
Can't go backwards, apparently.
Okay, here's one that I can actually see.
Yep.
How does doing the carnivore diet mean that you're not supposed to be in ketosis nutritionally long term? I don't get it.
Well, when you eat sufficient protein in a day, in one single meal, as you should do, to cause the insulin spike that will cause your kidney tissue to remain vital and your thyroid function to work the way it should, that will kick you out of ketosis for at least several hours every time you do it. You're not supposed to be in ketosis to a high level all the time. That will fuck you up at some point.
It will fuck you up.
Fuck you up. Speaking of which, I feel like we're done.
No, we have a super chat.
Oh. Yay.
How much stock should we put into light for mitochondrial health, like Dr. Sarah or Jack Kruse? This would be beyond step 4 of health hacks.
I think that Jack often says that light is more important than nutrition in terms of your health. I don't agree with Jack on that. I think that is complete nonsense. Sarah Pugh Jack is a friend of mine as well. I'm not saying he's not. He's also a friend of mine, but Sarah Pugh is much closer.
She's a real life friend.
She's a person I've actually met in the flesh, in the real world. She's been to this house, has Sarah Pugh. She's sat where Pim is sat right now. Indeed. And I have a lot.
Queen Sarah's throne.
I know, and I have a much more respect for what Sarah has to say about this quantum side of things because I think she's more moderate. Jack's whole thing is to be extreme and to be shocking and to speak to people in a way that's not accessible for most people. And I'm not talking behind his back saying this. I've said this to his face. Jack, you need to simplify your message and you need to tidy a few things up. Like, Jack, you need to stop telling people that light is more important than food because it fucking isn't. In my opinion. But yeah, I have a great deal of respect for both Jack and Sarah. Sarah more so than Jack, for reasons I've outlined. There you go.
We have one more super chat.
Yay. We like the super chats.
With Norwegian Kronor.
Yeah, we like those
What's
too.
your preferred way to prepare and cook your steaks?
Air fryer gets them up to heat and ready to eat. The preparation often happens several days to a week beforehand when we'll get a whole rump, and we'll sear it on the barbecue. And then it's sliced and seared, and then it goes in the fridge, mostly raw. Pim usually eats it pretty much like that, and I will cook it a little bit more sometimes, but I'm actually now, these days, heading more towards...
Yeah, he's been eating some pretty,
blue even.
Rare meat sometimes. I actually like eating it cold even when it's been smoked on the barbecue.
Yep. And you had raw steak last night, didn't you, with some balsamic even?
That's what I felt for.
There you go. I wouldn't do that myself, but Pim likes it.
I've had some different food, I shouldn't call them cravings, but hankerings for different foods after the dry fast.
Yeah.
Maybe because I've been living off of a lot of kefir.
Yeah.
Super chat without any questions, but thank you, Doug, for
your appreciate that. Thank you.
Squids.
Thank you.
There is one more, but I can't see it just yet. But it says up here that there is one.
Oh.
So, meanwhile, do you have anything you want to say to the peoples?
Yes, I would suggest, I mean, I'm not sure, but I think Harry Sopanos will probably be doing a live stream a bit later on today for those that want more Q&A. If you're at a loose end and want more Q&A after this, I would go and join the Harry Sopanos stream and see what he's talking about. Probably taurine, I would imagine.
No, you misunderstand. I love cold meat from the fridge too because the fat is re-solidified. Solid fat is not nice to chew on. I just want the meat. I don't know what happened to that super chat. It was a $10 or 10 something up there.
And now it's disappeared again.
It's disappeared and it's not showing.
Anyway, thank you, somebody called P, for the $10 super chat that has now disappeared from the system somehow.
What happens if I press clear?
That just gets the whatever you've got selected cleared. Yeah.
Don't know then.
Yeah. Oh, that being the case, we're at the end of our tether for the day. I wouldn't do that.
I did it. Still nothing.
No.
Maybe I imagine things. Maybe it wasn't.
What did Master Chief say?
I don't know. Something about toothpaste and.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Not for you.
All right. Question from Jeremy.
I love you.
Love you too, and there's nothing you can do about it. What are you whinging for? Are you jealous because I said I love somebody else? Oh. You haven't been on the show this week. Come here. You've got to be on the show. Noises. Fluffy's on the show. Fluffy's on the show. Fluffy's on the show. Hello, Fluffy. Oh.
She was sleeping and you just like tossing her.
Oh, she's like, leave me alone, unhand me, you beast. You beast. Oh.
Oh God, are we done then?
Yeah, I think we're done.
Okay.
All right. La 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 la. You forgot. We need to sing the song. Steak and eggs and eggs and steak. That's what you should have for breakfast.
Yes.
Eggs and steak and eggs. Just making sure you heard. There you go. Now you can end the show.
Bye.
Bye.